What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Ohio Sports Talk. I am your host, Doug. That's our guy, Jordan Maxon. Jordan, it's been a week, man. We've had some highs, we've had some lows. Excited to be back on here with you as always, but you know, just sometimes it hurts. Sports hurt, and we definitely dealt with that this week. The Cavs get beaten 5. What are your thoughts? What are you taking from? What are you taking off the top, and then we'll get into some other stuff first. What are you taking off the top this week from Ohio and sports and the Cleveland Cavaliers?
We'll start the Cavs where it hurts the most. The season is officially over for the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Yep.
Like you said, lost the series in 5 against the Boston Celtics, the number 1 record in the NBA in the regular season this year. But that was a lot of injuries. Kind of want to start at the top. I'm not saying the series would have went one way or another definitively, but last minute, no Karis LeVert, no Donovan Mitchell for a second night.
Yep.
And for probably the 6th game in a row, no Jared Allen, and that's a lot to ask for. Darius Garland didn't have his A game, unfortunately. He facilitated well. He did do some things well, and he passing the ball and kind of getting people involved. But we needed him to be the max scorer, and that didn't happen.
Did not.
But hey, hats off to Morris Sr. What a hell of a performance in Boston last night. Absolutely going crazy for 20 plus. Only missed, I think, 2 threes. That is the most heroic effort I've ever seen a bench player that was signed for just postseason play in recent memory. That I hope it's enough for him to get invited back to camp, maybe sign a 1-year deal and go into the sunset with the Cavs. I personally would like to see that. But just immaculate performance from the team all the way around. Evan Mobley, we finally got to see his growth, 30 plus points. Didn't necessarily get it done on the rebounds, but 30 plus points, got a few assists, got some people involved.
Jordan, let's get into it since we're already here.
Okay.
The Cavs, we end up losing Game 5. We lose them in the gentleman's sweep. We know we lost some guys. We didn't have everybody. We didn't have the full deck, unfortunately. So what's the first thing you believe Cleveland needs to do this offseason? Because I think that's what's important here is what needs to happen in the offseason, the first thing that has to be established for the Cavs coming into the offseason.
Number one's got to be a new voice. So, and I say that by JB Bickerstaff and company have got to go. Regardless of the effort in the last 2 games, the effort was there. But the coaching, you look back in Series 1 against Orlando, and the coaching was just a mess. And there were points this season that it also kind of continued that. So I think a new voice in the locker room. It has to be a new coaching staff. So JB Altman, if he wants to keep his job, in my opinion, got to let JB go. It's not personal when I say this; it's a business.
Yeah.
And in the business in the NBA, the Cleveland Cavaliers they have too much talent on the roster, and we have too many high draft picks that were invested. A lot of them aren't there anymore during the JB era. But this team is constructed to win now, and if you want to win now, we got to get a new voice. What do you think?
I do think first things first. I think JB has to go. There's been a lot of information coming out after the fact about JB potentially having lost the locker room in some regards. We heard about the story of Altman and him having words after the double overtime Houston game where Mitchell played 45 minutes. I think all of this is leading up to JB being replaced. We need to start probably looking into some candidates, looking into who's going to be the next coach for the Cleveland Cavaliers. Because, if I'm the Cavs, Jordan, And unless, if Ty Lue doesn't sign right away with the Clippers again, I'm sending him a massive, massive offer. I think Ty Lue coming back to Cleveland would be the best thing possible for this team. That would give Mitchell a legitimate coach. It would give everybody some stability around the team. So I would lead with that if possible. Obviously, that the Clippers might sign him to a very lucrative deal. But my first order of business would be getting Ty Lue or some of these top assistants, maybe the top assistant from the Nuggets, maybe look in some places like that with teams that are already successful and try to build off of what they're doing. Let's look at the roster, Jordan. Jared Allen, we've heard that there was some displeasure in the front office with Jared Allen and his lack of wanting to play with an injury. We know there's been some discourse with Darius Garland. He's making $34 million. It's not going to be easy to move that contract. It's going to have to be put together. Karis LeVert, he's making $15 million. I wouldn't mind having Karis LeVert back next year, unless there's a deal where he can get added to it. We're both in the camp that Donovan Mitchell has to be back next year. Give him all the money possible. But at the same time, he's got a tough decision to make also. Do I sign the extension? Do I ask for the trade? He's got two options. It's either stay in Cleveland long term or go work your way into one of these big threes, whatever situations, and potentially team up with another superstar. We know Evan Mobley. He's under contract still for at least another year for his rookie deal. The news came out that he never wanted to be a Cavalier. That stuff doesn't really faze me. I don't think a West Coast kid not wanting to be in Cleveland's really that crazy, honestly. No. So I'm not going to be overly upset about that. George Niang probably not going to be on the roster next year. It just didn't work. When we needed him most, he was not even remotely available. Not available. He was available, but he wasn't. He didn't help the team really at all. Isaac Okoro, in my opinion, it's time to cut the cord.
Yeah.
I saw all I needed to see in that playoff series. He's very limited in what he can do.
My only thought with Isaac Okoro, because we have seen offensive, I wouldn't call it brilliance, but we've seen offensive flashes.
Yeah.
From Okoro, and with a new coaching staff, post JB, do you spin the wheel on somebody like Okoro for another year and hope that a new voice and a new philosophy of how to play the game on a pro level, or because he's a pro, it's already kind of in there, and we just kind of trade him because he's part of the old regime?
To me, I just. If he's going to be like a role player, then maybe I just can't. He cannot be having major minutes. He cannot be a starter, in my opinion, in the league right now. I like his potential, but we're getting to the point where potential doesn't really help.
No.
So to me, I think he may need to be packaged in a deal to potentially bring in another guy. Another wing that can actually play meaningful minutes and help this team right now. Max Strus, in my opinion, I think he got a lot of hate. He's not as consistent as we would like him to be. I would like to see Max Strus in a Cavs uniform for one more year. Dean Wade, same thing. Tristan Thompson, if you can't find anybody better, maybe one more run. He's nice to have on the end of the bench. I don't want him playing meaningful playoff minutes that he had to play this year. I think that needs to be rectified. In my opinion, Jordan, they need to make a decision though. With the modern NBA, this two big man set, I don't know if it works. So, what are your thoughts on that? In my opinion, we keep Mobley and we probably trade Jared Allen. What are your thoughts there in the two big system? Because I don't think it works when both guys have a ceiling on them like these two guys do right now. What are your thoughts on the big man situation going into next year?
Well, I wouldn't necessarily say that Mobley has a ceiling yet, because we kind of saw that, and I know one game in the playoffs, in an elimination game with a lighter bench, is a small sample size, but 30 plus points,
Yeah, no, he played
and you
great.
kind of saw him. You saw him kind of take over, and I I think his ceiling's a little bit higher than where he's at right now. And the two big men, you look at the Eastern Conference, Philadelphia still got big men. Philadelphia still got
Yeah,
size.
they got a big man. They've got a big
A
man.
big man. They got a big man, but you look at the size that Orlando kind of has as a team, with guys at 6'8", 6'9", 6'10". I kind of look around the East. The Bucks are going to get healthy.
Yeah,
They
but
have some
they
size to
they
them.
sound like they're going away from Brook Lopez though.
I mean, Brook Lopez has kind of been around. I think
Yeah.
they'll replace him with somebody younger with size. But that's just my opinion. Two big men, at least for the foreseeable 2 years, is acceptable in the league, because we saw Houston try to play the small ball a couple years ago, and it wasn't necessarily successful for them when it came
Yeah.
playoff time. So I think getting away from the two big system right now, it's just, I get what you're saying, where the league's kind of getting away from it, but I almost think if you don't have it, because the NBA is a marathon and it's not a sprint.
Yeah,
And
but you're also paying
we saw.
But the money has to matter too, though, Jordan, because Jared Allen, as good as he is at $20 million, you're still going to have to give Mobley that next contract also. And the floor spacing is just so much better when we don't have them both out there at the same time. I don't know. I think it has to be considered. I like Jared Allen a lot, but if he can help you bring in a star wing, I think you got to try to pull the trigger and maybe package him and Garland together or something to bring in one of these superstar wings. This team has a ceiling right now, Jordan, and without a major move, we're not going to get through it. Are you not worried about that? Because to me, we're stuck. We're in no man's land. We're a good playoff team, but we're not great. We can't contend with the big boys. We're better than the bottom tier of the playoffs, but we're not in the top tier. And doesn't that worry you? We have to make a move this offseason. If Donovan Mitchell resigns, we have to make a move to get better.
Who just off the top of your head, what name do you think pops in your head for a wing or a player or a free agent veteran? Because I know the pool is substantially bigger this year when it comes to superstars being on the open market. But who
in terms of small forwards, and that's pretty much what we need. First pick for Mobley. Who says no? Jeez. This draft is not the right. This draft is not the right draft for that. I would draft the French dude if I had the first pick. I forget what his name is, but I would draft the French kid. But Jordan, I'm looking at, and I know it's a little bit far fetched. I would look at Paul George. I would look at Brandon Ingram. I would look at
Ingram. I can see Paul George at his advanced stage. It isn't worth anybody that has youth on the Cavs, in my opinion. It's just Paul George hasn't done anything in the last 2 seasons to be extremely relevant.
Yeah, but
I would almost consider
him and Mitchell together would be so much better than Mitchell and Garland. It would be very, very helpful for this team to have a small forward of Paul George's caliber. Let me look at the positions. I
wouldn't give up Jared Allen for Paul George. I just wouldn't. Not at this stage.
You're crazy. You're crazy. LeBron's a free agent. LeBron's a free agent.
That conversation's going to happen. You understand that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there is a scenario where, I like that you threw Ty Lue's name out there. If Ty Lue comes back to Cleveland,
that'd be huge.
I think LeBron would have second thoughts, because the Lakers are a mess. They're a great organization, but from top to bottom right now on their talent level, for somebody on LeBron's age, Cleveland is a better fit.
I would also look at getting a Mikal Bridges from Brooklyn for Garland and something else. I would also try to get him. So to me, it's Paul George, it's Brandon Ingram, it's Mikal Bridges, those kind of guys. And if LeBron, if we get lucky, LeBron comes home. I don't know.
I would like to see Buddy Hield in free agency come over and potentially.
I wouldn't mind having him off the bench. He's a little
I think
expensive, unfortunately.
a little expensive at the moment, but if you flash and say, hey, we kept Donovan Mitchell, we made a trade to pair him up with another superstar, we have Mobley, I think
Yeah,
Buddy Hield would take a pay cut to come play for a contender.
maybe. I mean, he plays for the 76ers, so he's kind of on a contender now, but I get what you're saying. So is Darius Garland gone next year? Jordan, that's the real question. Is Darius Garland gone next year?
If Cleveland eats some of the contract, and this is my opinion, I don't have any current insights on it. If Cleveland eats some of the contract, finds two trade partners, I think Darius Garland is gone. I think his contract is
3-team trade.
And I'm sorry.
So would it have to be? Are you saying 3-team trade? Maybe the Spurs need a good point guard. Maybe we get back a piece from them and a piece from somebody else.
Yes, and I think we're going to end up eating some of the money. We paid the luxury tax before on players a lot worse. So you look at like Andre Drummond, and we trap Burke and those contracts that we ended up eating some money to send those guys out. I think it's going to have to be that same mindset. If you want Darius Garland gone, you're going to have to eat some of that money, because that is a rich contract for a guy who has shown on a national stage that he's just not getting it done currently. So I think we're going to have to eat it if we want to move past it. We want the experiment done with Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland. We're going to have to eat some of that luxury tax.
No, I'm with you. I think I don't know if they're going to have to eat it, but I think they're going to have to package some things together to make it work and make it more appealing for other teams. Jordan, let's end on this for the Cavs. We know we got a big ass offseason coming of a lot of question marks. A lot of things are going to have to change for this team to get through the next step, and it's going to be hard to get through the next step. I mean, it's going to take something huge. What would you give the Cavs season grade this year? Playoff from start of the year to playoffs. What's your grade?
I'd say a B minus. I really want to lean towards a C, but
see, we're close. We're close. Then we're close.
You think about when we were the number 2 seed in the East for a while, and you think about the incredible start they had at some point, and the fact that they went between Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland and still had major games winning, games they had no business winning, and it had some incredible moments. Max Strus gave us the almost 80% full court shot for the win, and Dean Wade went in there to Boston at the end of the year and had an out-of-body experience, and there were a lot of highs on this team. So I can't say C as much as I want to say C, because last night's that game still hurts. So I got to look at it as an analyst and say from start to finish, it's a B minus. We did more than we did last year. We got past the first round. They had a better season overall, even though the seeding, we didn't love it. We didn't love that they kind of forfeited, but I think that's mismanaging and coaching. I wouldn't put that on the players. So I would say B minus.
Okay, I'm going to go C plus. I don't think you're wrong. I don't think you're wrong for remaining a little more positive. But I'm going to go C plus, because the problem is, Jordan, we never should have tanked the last game to play Boston in the second. That should have never been our second round opponent. JB, in my opinion, did a good job coaching the series against Boston. I've given him credit for that. I talked about it on Double Double last night. I thought he did a solid job against Boston, but it doesn't make up for everything else. Right. And in my opinion, he's got to go C plus. C plus for me. Feel like you got all overachieved. We did not overachieve at all.
We did not.
Absolutely not. No.
There's nothing you can say on this show that would make me say openly that the Cleveland Cavaliers
not when you played throughout the season and your ceiling was the 2 seed. No, you can't overachieve when you could have we could have been the 2 seed if we just won the last game. Like that's so no. To me, this team had more. The injuries did not help, of course, but you got to deal with what it is and what happens to you. So
no. And you point the compass at teams like New York, they're injury riddled as well. So
and they're still winning games.
They're still winning games. So I can hang some of it, but like you said, Doug, you hit it on the head. It just piss poor management of the roster.
All right, Jordan, let's transition. We'll talk more of the Cavs. We got a big offseason coming. In other news, though, NFL is here, Jordan. The schedule released last night. Let's pull up the Bengals schedule. I know you're excited. You get your date with the Chiefs week 2. Okay, Jordan. Outside of the Chiefs here, what game really catches your eye that's not non-conference or not in our division? Because I know our division games are always going to be big games no matter what. We know the Chiefs game's huge. Let's not pick that one. What game outside of that non-conference really caught your eye for the Bengals this year?
Well, to kind of put my brain in a non-bias, you being a Browns fan, I'm going to direct that question at you first.
For you guys, the best game on your guys' schedule is probably I would say week 8 against the Eagles at 4:25. I think that's that's that mid-season. We kind of get to see where you guys are. Hopefully, Joe Burrow is healthy. We know you guys are a legitimate Super Bowl contender when he's healthy. So, in my opinion, Eagles versus Bengals is going to be a hell of a game week 8, especially coming off the Cleveland game, which at Cleveland we usually kick your guys' ass. So, a potential. That's how it's been in the Joe Burrow era.
You're not wrong. Cleveland I'll say it. I'll back you up here. I don't do it often, folks. I'm gonna back Doug up on a Brown statement. They are 110% Joe Burrow's kryptonite, and they have been since his inception in the league.
We just do very well against Joe Burrow. We bother him with the pass rush. We force him into turnovers for whatever reason. We do a good job against Joe Burrow. I'm just saying, week 7 you're at Cleveland, and then week 8 you get to play the Eagles. To me, that's a huge game. So what are your thoughts there? Because you also get Dallas on Monday night in week 14, and that's going to be fun.
Because it's so late in the year, we'll see where we're at week 14. If I'm not saying it's not a meaningful game because the extension and the addition of the extra game, but yeah, the Eagles would be a solid point. They're one of the classes of the NFC. I know they kind of had a tailspin last season.
Fell apart.
But they did. They fell apart, but I think that was more of a locker room issue that hopefully the personnel are all together. Offseason does winning does wonders. If they come out of the gate and win, I think there'll be a more united front. But yeah, between those two teams, because those are the two best teams in NFC East.
Yeah,
it's going to be either Dallas or Philly, and I'm kind of leaning towards more Philly because it's right there in the middle of the season. Especially if Cincinnati is healthy at the quarterback position. And at the offensive line, definitely say a prayer and a couple Hail Marys for that. But hey, it's been a long couple of years with just the injury bug. The injury bug hates us. But the Browns. We'll touch on that. I mean, they're no stranger to offensive line injuries last season.
No, and quarterback injuries ourselves, really.
Quarterbacks.
Okay, so Jordan, now that we got the schedule, I know it's really, really early. It literally just happened yesterday. We put out some videos on YouTube discussing it, talking about the schedule breakdown. Quick prediction. What's the win-loss record for the Bengals right now? We know things can change. We know injuries can happen. People can get healthy, that kind of stuff. What's your prediction for the Bengals this season, record-wise? Wins and losses. I'm leaning
12-5 or 11-6. If we steal one from if we steal one from Cleveland, and it would probably have to be at home, realistically.
Okay, so
I think they can be 12-5.
Okay, let's get into it then a little bit. Who are the losses? Who are your 5 losses then?
I think our losses. I think a little bit of last year is going to haunt us. I think we dropped one to Baltimore. Okay, I think we split it with them. As gut-wrenching as it sounds, I think we dropped one to Cleveland.
That's 2 losses. Yep.
I do think we get a revenge game. I think we beat Kansas City. Okay. I would honestly say that late in the season, I think Dallas gets us. We don't have a particularly great record against Dallas in recent memory. I'm going to give one to Pittsburgh because it's the AFC North. I think we split it. As much as I want to say we'll beat Pittsburgh twice, with their quarterback corral and kind of, I don't think Russell Wilson will be playing late in the season. That's just my personal opinion. I think Justin
I
Fields
think Fields will take over at some point.
takes the rings at some point. So I'm gonna give Pittsburgh the win in round 2, and the fifth one's just gonna be a non-divisional.
Okay.
I can't particularly pick, but I feel like it's gonna happen.
That's fair. Hey, the Steelers do stink, but the problem is the Steelers, no matter what, they're gonna play good defense, and somehow they're gonna go 500. That's just what the Steelers do.
That's what Mike Tomlin does. He hasn't had a team go under 500 yet.
It's clockwork. It's literally clockwork. As bad as I think they suck, they're gonna win 8 or 9 games, and it's gonna piss me off.
I mean, they start Rudolph and they still fucking win. So it's
I'm gonna go 11-6 for you guys.
I respect that.
I think Kansas City is going to be a hell of a game. The reason I'm going to lean Kansas City, I know you guys have had success there at Kansas City early in the year. Maybe they catch you guys before Joe Burrow's clicking. Ravens, I think you split. There's 2. You lose to us once. There's 3. Eagles 4. I think you beat. And then I think you lose 1 to Pittsburgh. There's 5. And then you either lose to Dallas or the Chargers. So there's 5 or 6 losses. So 12-5, 11-6, somewhere in that range. Maybe we beat you guys twice and we're one of those other losses. You never know. We just play really well against the Bengals. That's just what it is.
I hate hardball. I pray, even if it's a fluke game, that we don't lose against LA.
Yeah, no, I'm rooting for you guys there. I totally get that. Jordan, let's transition though. We'll talk about my Brownies.
Let's get into it. Toughest schedule in the league.
Toughest schedule in the league. Who decided we needed the toughest schedule in the fucking league? Who decided that shit? That's such bullshit. I understand that we finished in a good position and that's why, but fuck, dude. I mean, week 1, we get the Cowboys. Week 1.
That's huge.
On Fox, 425. We've got the boys. That's gonna be fun. Jordan, look at our schedule. I mean, it's very similar to your schedule. What game outside of the AFC North do you like for us to be a big game? I mean, we've got the Eagles too. I mean, we've got the Jags also. We got the Dolphins. We got some fun ones. We got the Chiefs. We got some fun ones in there for sure.
Yeah, I hope you guys smash the Chiefs and the Dolphins. But
I just don't think we're capable, unfortunately.
I do. I think with a healthy defense, Mahomes struggles with a really good pass rush, and your guys watching Cleveland forever as an AFC North resident myself. Your defensive ends have been historically pretty talented at not over pursuing the quarterback, and I think that's where Mahomes' weakness. If you guys stay in your pass range and don't over pursue them, I can see you guys knocking off the Chiefs.
I hope so. That's a massive game. That's the kind of game. If we're let's see, what is that? Week 15. So if we're 7-6, that kind of range, because we got the bye week. So yeah, we'd be, that's like a game that you win that game and then you go into the last 3 and you're like, fuck, we could really make a run here. If we're in that situation. Jordan, look at our schedule. What do you think our record ends up? Because I'm thinking right now, looking on it, I'm going to go 10-7.
I see 11-6.
Man, but see, here's the problem with that is I don't think you, us, and the Ravens can all win triple-digit games. Or, sorry, double-digit games. My bad.
We were the division last year that didn't have a losing team. So we got to keep that in the back.
I know you're not wrong. We were all we were all 1 win away. You and the Steelers were 1 win away from 10 wins.
Yes.
Or was that? Did you guys finish 9-8?
Everybody, everybody finished with 9 wins or more in the AFC North.
That's crazy. Yeah, you guys were 9-8. Pittsburgh was 10-7. We were 11-6. Raven. So we were 1 win away from having 3-4 teams win double digits. So I mean, it is possible. Maybe I'm wrong. I think 10 wins. If Deshaun Watson can be a superstar again, that changes everything in my opinion. if he could show up and if he could show up and we beat up on the Cowboys week 1, that changes my mind a lot. He's got to be better this year. He's got to be better this year.
It's not even that. Your offense scares me in general. The Cleveland Browns last year showed that they can win with just about anybody behind the center, and that should speak volumes for your offensive line and your skilled position. I mean, you guys were starting an XFL guy, and he had a winning record as a starter. Doug, I mean,
that's what good teams do, Jordan. They don't make excuses.
You brought in Joe Flacco off the couch, and it was productive. I mean, regardless of how he finished in the playoffs, I think with your offensive line now healthy, if it stays healthy, man, the addition of Jerry Jeudy, who I think is going to be a bigger impact, as much shit as I talk about him, and that's my job as a Bengals fan.
Yeah, I get it.
I think he changes the dynamic.
I hope, dude.
Cooper finally gets his number 2. Cooper finally gets help, and I think that changes the whole dynamic of the Browns. We know you can run the ball with anybody behind that line. We know you have the best running back when healthy. It's that you guys are going to be scary.
Okay. I hope he can bounce back and be Nick Chubb. I know it's going to be hard with blowing out your knee like that. I know it's going to be hard. Jenna asked, does Watson have the mindset to get it done? Man, that's the key. Is Deshaun Watson? Can he be 65% of Deshaun Watson in Houston? 70% of Deshaun Watson in Houston. Washington decides what happens. CMC is number 1. Sure. CMC, all around. But I would much rather have Nick Chubb running the ball. I understand the pass catching and all that extra stuff. Good for CMC. I'd much rather have Chubb as just the runner. But whatever. I get you, Tyler. You rat bastard.
He doesn't understand AFC North ball. AFC North ball is not about the running back.
He plays that pretty California ball. He plays that pretty bullshit ball.
Tell Sunshine to shut the hell up.
Hey, Nick Chubb coming off an injury is obviously not going to be the best one. I don't think he's going to be the best running back in sports.
But we appreciate it. We appreciate it.
I'm so glad Tyler couldn't do our movie podcast tonight. I was struggling today. I was dragging ass all day. But yeah, let's get back to a healthy Browns team. I think we are competitive with you guys with the Ravens. I think we're all 3 better than the Steelers. Fuck those guys, obviously.
Fuck them.
And fuck Baltimore for real. I mean, but I do think I respect them. They're the best team in the league. Because Christian McCaffrey catches the ball out of the backfield. You guys aren't understanding what I'm saying.
You're
strictly running. I would a healthy Nick Chubb, I would take him over CMC. CMC is much more talented. Congratulations. What's that get you guys in the playoffs? Nothing. It's funny because they're both 49ers fans. So
didn't the Ohio teams go and show the 49ers what was up last year?
We did beat the 49ers this year.
We both did.
We did both beat the 49ers this last year.
So, hey, Tyler and Darren, sit the hell down. Get out of this conversation. Exit the chat, please.
Jordan, though, let's transition. We got one more thing to talk about.
Let's hit it.
Let's talk about the Reds. Man. You want to talk about stink? These guys stink.
But two nights ago, when I'm staying up past 1:00 in the morning, they rock it.
You're up burning the midnight oil, and they finally played well.
And then I check on the 3:00 game, and we drop a goose egg, Doug. The pitching wasn't bad from Abbott. The pitching wasn't bad. Back-to-back games, Hunter and Abbott tear up the mound. And we don't give him run support. It's just, where have the bats gone? Why can Candelario hit 4 hits in 2 games, but no hits in the next game? Somebody answer my questions. I'm
not gonna be mad at Candelario because this is the best he's hit. This is the best he's hit all year.
Where's the help?
I don't know. Ellie and Fraley and Stevenson have been our guys recently, and that's not enough.
Well, I know Ellie was off during the afternoon game, so I can't.
I know.
I can't pop a vein. Taking him off especially against a left-hander. I think that's okay mentally to do, but
Hey,
we needed that series. We needed that series really bad, and it just coming off a great performance. It's almost like they lost the energy. We gave all the energy supporting Hunter Green, and
then Nick
dropped the
Lodolo
goose
goes
egg.
on. Nick Lodolo goes on the IL for 15
That-
days.
God.
CES goes on there for 10 days. We still have Matt McClain on the IL. We've got TJ Friedel on the IL. I mean, it's not going to get any better, unfortunately. It's just not. We're playing bad baseball on top of having a bunch of injuries. It's just not going to get any better. This team,
Doug,
they're in a bad way.
They need to call the Marine Corps doctors, Doug, because something's not right with the medical staff. I've never seen injuries this early in the season pile up. You'd have thought we were hunting for October right now with the amount of injuries we're seeing on the DL. It's just, I don't know.
8 games back of first place in the NL Central already.
2 games out of the wild card, though. I'll keep a positive spin. Keep a positive spin. That's what I'm here for, baby.
Come on.
Hey, I'm looking at all the aspects.
And Nick Kroll comes out and says, "We're not interested in making any moves. We're not going to do anything. The bats are just
that's
cold.
a Reds MO.
Bats are just cold. This
a Reds MO.
Needs to be fired. David Bell needs to go. Nick Kroll needs to go. It's time to restart. Bring back Bauer. At least that guy can fucking pitch.
I mean, sell the team, right? I mean, that was our theme. The last 2 seasons. Sell the fucking team. That family has no.
20 plus years ago when they bought the team, they told us they were going to put a winning team on the field. We've made the playoffs 3 times. We never made it out of the first round. We never even. I think we won 1 game in the playoffs in those 3 years.
No, I think Dusty had a series where we won 2, but then he choked it.
Well, yeah, okay, maybe they won 2 playoff games. Sorry, but shit, it's not been successful in the last 2 years of this ownership. And the Reds used to be one of the marquee teams in baseball, and it's so far gone from now. We've got a marketable player in Ellie, and we're wasting it. And it sucks right now watching baseball in Cleveland. But Jordan, to turn it on its head, I bet $10 for Ellie to hit a home run tonight. So we're back. Pete Rose to manage Sean Casey as third base coach, Pokey Reese as bench coach. Nobody. I started wearing the flat bill hat for baseball and had it tucked on the side because of Pokey Reese. And he always used to he had the armbands. He had all the extra stuff on. Pokey Reese always showed up to impress. Pete Rose, unfortunately, would bet on the team to lose. I'm so sick of people defending Pete Rose. Dude, Pete Rose is a piece of shit.
Whoa.
He is a piece of shit. He literally bet on everything fucking that moved. Anything that moved, that guy bet on. You know damn well he bet on Reds games. Quit defending this asshole. He did what he did. He's still selling his autograph to make a buck. He's got the least valuable autograph in the fucking history of sports because he signed everything that ever moved. He bet on everything that ever moved. I'm so sick of people, he should be in the Hall of Fame. No, he screwed himself. That's his own fucking fault. And I'm sick of people telling me that he should be in the Hall of Fame. Don't break the cardinal sin of baseball. Don't fucking do it. And he did it for a long time. Pete Rose ran over.
But did you watch the ESPN miniseries in the mid-2000s over there? Damn.
Hey, you know what? Unfortunately, your grandma's tits value went down after Pete Rose signed it because he signed every other tit in the world. I also bet on everything. I don't bet on my team to lose in games I'm playing in.
Hey, come on, Jenna. Come on.
Come on.
What are we doing here?
What
are we doing here?
Oh, man. We got
he's gonna watch The Sopranos.
We've got gambling getting called out. What a show tonight! What a loaded show.
I'm waiting for my skeletons come out. I gotta go.
Yeah. Jordan, what else do we got before we get out of here, man? It's been fun. The new logo got some universal praise.
Yes.
So I thought the neon looked fun, kind of that Miami Vice appeal for Ohio. So
I like that.
That's the vibe, dude. I was up 1:30. I couldn't sleep. I was like, I'm gonna revamp logos for no reason. I couldn't fucking sleep last night, so that's what I was doing.
I digged it. I was up 2 nights ago myself, burning the midnight oil.
You were tweeting your ass off the other night. I loved it.
Nothing. We'll tip our caps to the Guardians. Even though they took one to the chin a little bit the other night, but I think they'll rebound pretty quickly.
Yeah, they're have a huge in their division.
Against the Rangers coming up. That's going to decide their division for the next couple of weeks.
Yep. Yeah. Shout out. I mean, FC Cincinnati keeps playing good soccer,
yes.
Good football, whatever you want to call it. Good for those guys. The crew, they're always hanging around. So soccer's getting a lot better in Ohio. That's for damn sure.
FC Cincinnati second place in their division in the East. So playing cool. great soccer.
Yep.
We kind of did a little shout out to UD baseball. They made the Atlanta 10 tournament.
Yeah.
I think it's ninth time in their history they reached 30 wins or more. That's a huge accomplishment for college baseball.
So yeah. So I have I'm gonna working on a YouTube video for the Dayton Flyers for Jaron Holmes' draft profile. Good night, Tyler. Can't wait to talk to you soon. I got a draft profile coming out for Jaron Holmes on my UD channel. You got anything else going on, Jordan? I think we're getting together this weekend. That should be fun.
Yeah, we're gonna get together this weekend. We're gonna trade some notes, hit some thoughts. To try to come up with some better programming for you, the fans.
Hopefully drink excessively.
Well, you know me, I'm still a Marine to the day I die. So it's been a couple of years since we had a few bangers, but I think this weekend's gonna go in the books. So.
Well, guys, shout out to all of you. Looks like we had 66 people in here at our peak. Thank you to everybody who's watching. Thank you for the great interactions tonight. Shout out to my guy CJ. Shout out to Jenna. Shout out to Tyler. A lot of good interactions from you guys. Thank you so much for hopping in here and talking with us. And we will see you guys Monday night. As always, we will be here. We're going to keep trying to do a better show and keep improving the show. So thank you for rocking with us, and we will see you next time. Jordan, love you, buddy. Out.
Love you, sir.